All right, let me start with a story, anecdote. Year 1999, my son is about 2 years old. He was here, that handsome, not so young fella yesterday. All right, so he is playing around. I'm in India. I have gone to India. My father is terminally ill with cancer. Now, in Singapore, we had a friend whom I had lent some money. Now, when there is a crisis in the family and I'm traveling all the time from Singapore to India, it's not cheap. And I need the money. So I was just discussing with my mom that when he needed help, I helped out. Now I need some financial aid. He should return the money. But he is not. So, I am in a crisis. I'm traveling every month to India. So, little did I know that my son was not even in the room. He was playing in the balcony. But he heard every word of it. And as soon as my friend came that evening, my 3-year-old goes to the top of the stairs and asks him, "Did you get my mom's money?" I wanted to crawl under the table. I wanted to die at that moment. And I learned a huge lesson. Watch what you say in front of your kids. No matter how old they are like sponge. They take everything. They hear everything. And they all take it in, and it all comes out at the wrong moments. All right? So it was a lesson hard learned. Literally. I had to then have a conversation, and he said, "You were speaking loudly. I heard every word of it." I said, "Yes, but then there is a difference between public and private conversation. If I am not talking to you directly, then it is not a conversation I'm having with you. So if you eavesdrop, and you cannot use that conversation elsewhere." But lesson learned. All right. So that brings us to this very important discussion that asks schools responsible for teaching values, or should that be left to families? I'll first let all my panelists introduce themselves, and then we will kickstart the discussion. Over to you.
Hello, my name is Inas Fatani, and maybe this is why I chose to be part of this panel, because I love discussions about education that goes beyond academics, education that raise and develop the whole student, not only only academically. So maybe as a mother and then as an educator, this is what we're looking for, to find academics that lays, or education that lays in the heart of education, that nature the whole student, a whole being. Thank you.
Yes. Hi, this is Dr. Amani Zabalawi.
Hold it close. Yeah.
Close. It's my honor to be here in this conference. So this topic, actually, it's close to my heart because I felt it and I lived it. I'm a Canadian certified teacher. I'm Canadian certified principal. So I'm principal in Canadian schools now in Canada. And I was here in UAE for a long time. And I brought my kids here when I was principal here at some private sectors. And I was a senior leader at Aldar. So at this time, my qualification support me, and my grounded qualification helped me to align between this academic subjects and the MOE subject, which is the cultural, the religion, values, and faith, and align them with the academic one. And of course, as certified teachers who study the education and the Western culture and try to align all this with academic year wasn't an easy journey for me during education. So I came from Canada to UAE to brought my kids here to let them live the value. You cannot just keep talking about the value to your children. They have to live that value. They have to feel it. They have to see it. So it was a personal thing beside a professional experience. So now my kids are there. So he just called me. He has a test after a few hours. I brought them back when they went to university. They are engineer right now, studying there. And it's not easy to battle, to have this battle when you're raising your kids. So I look at it from a perspective, different perspectives, as a parent, at the same time as an educator. I finished my master's degree in leadership education and curriculum instructions, and my PhD in that's my master's degree. My PhD was in strategic management and school leadership. So always values in diverse community was a challenge to support the children. It has to have a whole curriculum. So this topic is close to my heart. That's why I'm discussing this with you here.
Hi, I'm Shravya. I run a network of schools in South India. I started as an engineer, but I changed my fields to education 10 years ago. How a human learns and behaves is something that I'm super curious about. I take that question to my meetings with students, teachers, and parents. I chose this topic because I believe schools are super important to the community growth, and that is something that I would like to address. It's not just students, but I believe it's the whole community that needs to build character and grow, and schools have to play a part in that.
Hello, I'm Nilofer. Other than being an educator, I have also served my school as a students' counselor. I have served as advisor to the students, and working this closely with the students makes me believe in this topic for today, because I truly believe that, yes, schools can play the most important role in developing or believing in anything. So today, hopefully, we're going to have a fruitful discussion, because I truly believe in this title. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilofer. Well, this is the core question of the discussion today, that what exactly are schools expected to teach when it comes to values? Schools and parents are both responsible for shaping a child's character, but how should those roles be balanced? That's what we are going to explore in the course of today's discussion, because as parents, we trust schools to nurture curiosity and learning. We all do that as parents. Now, as an educator and as a parent, I understand how learning happens when prior knowledge is triggered, leading to reflection and understanding. And while schools can spark that growth, parents lay the foundation for values like respect and responsibility. So in my opinion, it's a collaborative exercise, to be very honest. But let's see what my panelists and all of you believe. So my question for today is about values, diversity, and shared responsibilities, and we will explore some individual perspectives. Question to Dr. Amani. Right. How can schools and families promote these shared universal values while still respecting cultural, religious, and ideological diversity? Over to you.
Yeah. First of all, as an educator, we have full power to shape and to form generations and personalities of our students. But at the same time, without the family support, we cannot do it by ourselves. Or if the family's role disappear, there will be confusion and unbalanced students. So that's why both together are playing a critical role in forming the values for our students and our generations. So here we have a different kind of pillars that we can talk about. I will start with the universal traits and universal values that we could raise in our school. So to talk about universal values, we're talking about respect, honesty, we talk about responsibility, talking about empathy. So all those values should be shared in every school, and the school should be ready to provide those meanings to the students. And of course, those could be implemented in every school through different kind of methods and plans. For example, code of conduct in every school, students' code of conduct, and behavior policy. Make sure that classroom agreements are explained to the students and how they respect each other. So one of them is, as I said, universal humans and traits. Diversity is very, very important. Diversity is one of those pillars. So we have to understand that difference, we should celebrate differences instead of erase them. In a community like Canada, the schools there or North America, they do have a multicultural societies and different students from different ethnic groups. So in the school, in the system there, they do celebrate these differences, and every student has to be proud of his identity. Here in UAE, it's also done through the curriculum, the social studies curriculum, and I was really proud of the students here when I was in UAE, when they are proud of their identity, the national identity and the National Day, celebrating those, the faith, the religion, the language. It's very important to emphasize and align them with the American and the British and other kind of curriculums. So if the students really have balanced their proudness of their identity, they can build confidence, they can build resilience, they can build their the personality in a really healthy growth and emotional growth. So when it comes also to empathy, it's very important to teach the students what does empathy mean and how to feel and understand other different cultures, how to make them understand different cultures in the school, through a storyteller, telling stories to them, different stories about different cultures. Let some parents from different cultures bring some examples to the classroom. This is very important to teach our teachers and to train our teachers to be ready to share those different stories and to teach them how to make groups from different ethnic groups together. Differentiation in the classroom is one of the things that will also help the teacher deliver to the students what they need.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You want to?
No, I'll give chance to others. We come back to.
Okay. All right. Enas, from an educator's perspective, why is it considered essential for schools to play an active role in values education, and what principles or educational frameworks typically guide this approach?
Let's start with why values. Because values are the fundamental of human behavior. They shape your identity, your beliefs, and your practices and emotions. So when we find students with very high values that are recognized by society, you will shape a very good start. We talked in previous, our colleagues and bright minds talked about finding good teachers, finding people to train, like as Krugan said before, and Jim said about how we shape these people. Really, finding people, we have to work on preparing people and students and children with these values first. So this is why values. And as educators, values are the essential part of our building characters. because schools are the primary social environment that kids can practice emotional intelligence, teamwork, collaboration, and empathy. So this is why we have to, as educators, focus on values. And we are educators, we are grounded by theoretical theories and best practices and child development. So we know exactly what it means to raise a very well-rounded student. So we always are guided by what is the most important things. Our theories about, say, learning development and social development and holistic development goes back to how we model the values, how we implement these values and be role models. This is how kids learn, like you said, by modeling. So they modeled, they are sponges. They know and act upon what they learned and see. So thank you.
Shravya, Enas gave a very good definition of how values are formed. My next question is, what role should schools ideally play in supporting parents in matters of values? And I'll go a little bit forward, in matters of values and character development.
So, not all parents walk into parenting with consciously chosen values, right? Most of the parents just inherit. Most of us have inherited our values from our childhood by watching our parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. But by watching their actions, behaviors, and inactions, that is how we have built our, our bodies and brains and souls have built our values. And parenting, I feel, is it's a wonderful opportunity for each of us to reflect on which of those values is true to us today and which of those values I do not want to pass on to my next generation. This is where schools come in. I think schools can nudge and gently support parents to reflect. But not by correcting them or judging them, but by creating opportunities to reflect. Because schools can go ahead and teach all about, values, but like Inas said, kids model, and parents parents play a huge role. So you cannot tell a parent to practice good values as a school. So you really need to offer those opportunities where the parents come together and reflect. It could be in private or a worksheet in a group. And schools shouldn't shy away from doing that. It's a very tough ask, considering all that a school needs to do. But without, character building and value education, there is no education. And if schools are in in a mission to provide and deliver good education, they need to create and toughen up to play that role, because parents are both of them working, very little time to pursue personal growth. They're all caught up in professional and leadership growth, but their personal growth is it impacts a child's character building and values. So that is where I think schools should come in.
I agree that it's a very tough ask. But can you share some examples and strategies that will work with parents? Because it's a sensitive thing, after all.
So it doesn't have to be, schools can focus on the universal values of respect and empathy and so on. So here's what we do in our schools. It's been 10 years and we've been doing this. I'll start with something very small. We do something called Family Fun Time. It's an activity that we send over every month to parents that they can do with their children. And it's typically around household chores. So let's say, the month of January, it's kitchen. They all just sit and do. If a 3-year-old will be sorting utensils in the kitchen with the parent, a 15-year-old will be making a meal for the parents. So it is getting an opportunity to do and work on small projects at home together, which sort of, brings up a lot more conversation around how to do things, why to do things, what to say, what not to say. So there's a lot of value education and character building that happens through that activity. We've been doing it for 10 years, and we see such joy in our children's faces when they come back Monday morning to share about how their family fun time went. So that's one small thing we do. The other thing we do is we do expert-led workshops where when you bring an expert from outside, I feel parents are a lot more open and willing to listen.
Credibility.
Yeah. Rather than a school counselor or a school director. So we regularly have experts come in to talk about, how difficult it is to be a parent. To start with, right? You need to connect before you preach. So we do a lot of those workshops for our parents. It will be something as small as benefits of doing physical activity together with your child. Because unless parents work on their fitness, they can't fix their mental health, which is, what will impact how a child learns. The third thing we do is a weekly knowledge nugget that we send on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the communication channel we use with our parents. It will have a small thought-provoking question about what are you grateful for. At bedtime today, talk about 3 things you're grateful for, and ask your child to talk to. So there is a lot more. There's two-way communication, and those nudges I feel give parents a quick prompt, a quick tip on how to navigate a discussion. So those are some things which have been working really well for us.
All right. Those examples gives me the next question that, Nilofer, what key benefits emerge when schools and families work in partnership to support student values and character development?
Well, first I would like to comment a little bit on Shravya. The methods which you're using is really helpful because in this fast time, when parents are busy with their own jobs, they really don't know whether they are struggling or they cannot do it. So this thought-provoking message which you give them every month gives them an opportunity to sit, relax, and see, am I a struggling parent or am I just ignoring the fact? So sometimes it's very difficult to say I'm struggling. And this is where our schools, the personals, the directors, the counselors at schools can play an important role just to make them realize that it's okay to say that I'm struggling, I need help. And that's where the collaboration between the school and the parents or the families play a very important role. The first thing, by collaborating together, we can have enhanced students' performance. The students can perform really well because they would feel very confident. They can see that I get the same support from my family and I'm getting the same support from the school. So there is no place for that fear, which we previously heard in one of the lectures we had, that fear is the stair for everything. Once we cross this fear, we are able to see everything clear in front of us. So the students themselves, when they are in their shells, they are struggling. So when they get a collaborative support from the family and from the school, this fear goes away. They will enhance better, they will perform better, they will gain the confidence. The other thing is they will improve in their social skills. Being a students counselor for many years for high school students, I have seen that they have a lot to say, they have a lot to give, but they are scared to say anything. They don't know how to express themselves. And then when you deal into details about their family, something or the other has happened in their family which has, somehow just shut them down. So I think this open communication between families and schools will develop better social skills, and they will give the students an opportunity to express. And when students express, they can do wonders. There is no limit to the youth. The third one is even the positive attitude, which the students will start having towards everything, whether it is silly, whether it is very important, whether it's something serious. Nowadays, in today's generation, what we see is our students panic with every new word said to them in the classroom or even at home. Even a single discussion which they do not want to hear panics them. Why is that? It's because they know that if they are struggling, who will they go to talk to? Schools are busy giving them academic family is busy giving them, rules and values, you need to, but there is no time for them to listen. How can they do it, or why cannot they do it? So I think the attitude, the positive attitude, builds or plays a very important role if schools and families collaborate together. And of course, if the attitude is positive, the outcome is positive. So we will have better outcome, less behavior issues, less depressions, which our youth is going through nowadays. So together we can really make a huge difference.
So collaboration all the way. That's the... All right, let's talk about some contemporary challenges and the digital age and its impact. I believe that also is a very sensitive area. So, Dr. Amani, in a social media-driven world, and feel free to regard it as only media also, not just social media, but media as such, movies, etc., etc. So, what shared responsibilities should schools and families assume in guiding students' values and ethical behavior?
In this digital age, the real challenge, it's not the technology itself, it's not the media itself, it's the speed, the volume, the content. So if we talked about different kind of technology, which is or digital, which is, I start with media, which is movies. For example, I will never ever let my children in a certain age watch a movie at the theater. It's something, popular in all ages. They want to see the new movies and Disney's, and I never let them go watch the movie by themselves.
Why not?
Because I need to see that. I need to know the content, and they know that. After that, we have to sit. They know every time they go to the movie, we have to go outside directly after the movie, because they will grab the idea and the hidden message in the movie and they will leave. They will go, okay, and they will forget after that is this aligned with their values or not? So at the same time, the same day, we go after the movie, we have a meeting, have a conversation, tell me what did you learn? What was the moral of this movie? Sometimes they told me, Mama, it's just fun. We're here just to see, to enjoy the time. I told them, oh, I know you enjoyed your time, but did you learn something? What happened in that scene? Do you believe that this is right or wrong? So you need to discuss it with them. And then when they express themselves to you, you will find out what did they understand? What moral did they get from this message?
I'm very curious to know their reactions.
You will be, believe me, if you talk to them, you'll be surprised. One time I was in a trip, traveling, and my son was watching Wonder, I think, with his... teacher took them to the movie there. It was a novel study and media literacy at the same time. So they connected the media literacy with the novel study. And then when I came, he told me, I watched the movie, but I want you to come back again with me. I cannot wait. I want you to come to see it with me. Because after that, we sit and discuss it together and see what was wrong, what was right. Does this part align with our values or not? They need to learn how to evaluate the social content. We need to teach them how to evaluate social content, what to choose online. It is very important to have a curriculum, even in schools, as an educator, to teach our children how to understand what kind of curriculum, what kind of, social media they are watching. No, this is not right. This is right. They have to start evaluate. They all the time on reels, just scrolling. And what happened to them? They don't get anything. They don't gain knowledge. They don't gain any. They're just wasting time. What's going on right now? So
and probably that gives you a quality time with your children as well, right? Something that is becoming rarer these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned that expression themselves, we need to create something called safety zone with our children to allow them to express themselves, to talk to us about what do they think about that. Even the game content, the music they are listening to, harmful lyrics nowadays. I mean, our children shouldn't listen to so many songs. They are playing in their ears all the time. And that is building their personalities, their beliefs, their values. And our body is like 70%, more than 70% of it's full of water. So it reads those words, understand them and put them in our mind and thinking. So it is very important to observe what our children at home are listening, reading, watching. It's not like, shocking them or not opening, like it's not freedom for them, but it is important to be around, to open that safety zone for them to come and explain and express their understanding and feelings to us. One more thing, it's in social media now, the AI, the ChatGPT, and everything is there. I just want to mention a study, a recent study that has an alarming result to us. Now, we know that every student here, or adults and children are using ChatGPT, but we need to understand that this also has to be regulated, and we need a curriculum. We need clear curriculum to support our children to use it. A study shows that 45 to 50% of the students who are using ChatGPT when they are doing their homeworks, they have what we called activity. 45 of their brains not active. They are using only 50% of their brains. So 45 to 50% of their brains are not active. 33% of them are start having learning difficulties. 87 of them are not able to recall the information again. So no vocabulary, no ideas, no critical thinking. And this is a very serious alarm to us and serious result. Should we stop using ChatGPT and AI and all this? Of course, no, we will not stop. And they will not stop. So what should we do? We should teach them how to think, how to put their own ideas, how to put the input from their own way of thinking, their own ideas, and then get the edit, get the proofreading, but not allow ChatGPT to think instead of them. They stop thinking. They depend on the social media. And this is another thing. They're also building different values now. So we have to have a curriculum, and we have to watch and advise our children what are they doing.
That brings me to value-based education. Nilofer, how does that translate into improved academic performance?
I couldn't agree less with you. It is true. And as an educator, I have noticed that when values are missing, no matter if you have the best teacher with you, nothing comes up. When I was new to the education industry, when I was new to education itself, and I didn't understand all these details of why a student is reacting in this way. Come on, I'm giving the best in my class. But it didn't affect the students at all. Why? Because their values were missing. They didn't know what is the importance of a teacher. Nowadays, in today's world, like she said, the Gen Z has one concept. I can get it through the ChatGPT. I can use AI. I don't need a teacher. True, you don't need a teacher. But if you have those values of how important that teacher is, you might get knowledge from everywhere. But the teacher is the one who can show you the right path. So I feel the value-based education gives you more academic success. It also strengthens the social skills, which I mentioned earlier. And the teachers who are practicing the value-based education in their classes or during their routines, those teachers or those educators have a higher record of academic success. So I feel that knowledge is present everywhere, but if the values are missing, then that knowledge is of no use. And sometimes, again, I mention this because as a parent, I can feel that at times I'm busy. I'm not able to give what I'm supposed to give. And then the next day I'm shocked when my son comes and tells me, you know, Mama, the teacher told me this. And I feel like he has a greater impact on what the teacher told him, not on how I was trying to explain to him. It sometimes does not affect him. But anything spoken in the class or by the teacher or by the school, everything is taken seriously. So
This
that's
is
why
because the sense of belonging. This is
Exactly.
because they feel that they belong to that place, they belong to the teacher, to the classroom. So they grab everything easily
grab.
and
I agree because I have had parents come up to me and say, Miss Samita, you speak to my son, he'll listen. If I say, he'll ignore. Okay, I have heard that so many
Yes.
times.
And that's why I'm saying the schools have the power. It just needs the right direction, or maybe in such a busy schedule, we both, families and the schools, we really need to pause and to just see what is the right method to click them. Because really, our youth can do wonders if we direct them in the right direction.
Thank you. Now, let's focus on another area that all international schools, all places now have become so international, so multi-ethnic that we struggle with. How do we? This is to Shravya, you. How do we ensure consistency in school in character development when students come from families with vastly different backgrounds and value systems?
So I don't think consistency means a fixed value system because families who have their own culture, beliefs, and priorities, and that diversity is actually a huge strength. Where schools come in is
Can you just explain a bit? Why is diversity such a big strength?
So I used to work for an oil and gas company, and my first posting was in Algeria. There was no two people, except for barring Algerians, there were no two people from the same country in my team. And it was so interesting to see how each person would approach a problem differently, perceive it differently, and it just expands your thinking. And the same is with schools or any group where there is that kind of diversity. But the shared language that helps is again going back to the universal values where a school comes in is when you have that shared language, you are getting everyone together and creating less confusion for children. We're not promoting a particular way of thinking, but you're promoting universal values. So when schools come in to promote more clarity and consistency in that way. That's how I feel they can address in a multi-ethnic group.
As a principal of an institution?
Whatever has been said today, not only now, is like they say, great minds think alike. Really, because we're facing the same dilemma, we're facing the same problems and everything. But if we are, it's very good that we are united in one thought that everything starts from a person from inside. This is how we have to work on how to manage to build a very good person, how to manage to develop these people to be great leaders, to be great human beings. So whatever is said here or will be said in such conferences, they are the same. We know as educators what works the best. What we're trying here is to unite what we know in one very good solution that maybe can help us with this next generation.
Now, I'll come to Nilofer again because you touched upon societal impact. So let's explore that in a few details now. So what long-term impact do well-rounded, value-driven students have on their communities and on society at large?
Well, I believe that if we develop individuals and students with proper value-based education, then in the long term, what we can see is they won't struggle to deal with leadership. They won't struggle to deal with creativity. This is something which will be inbuilt in them. So this is a long-term impact. We do not need to send our kids and students to special training centers to get the leadership skills, to get the innovation. Because honestly, in my opinion, leadership, innovation, creativity, it's within us. we do not really need to go and learn them. These value-based, terms and education, which we can get in our own school, in the long term, they have these impacts. We will get future leaders. The other thing is these individuals can build trust in the community. They can display as role models, and their values can impress others. And in this way, our society can have more and more value-based educators. So in the long term, if one school succeeds to do this, or the collaboration between family and the school succeed in developing individuals with proper value-based individuals, I think we will not face issues which we always see nowadays, like bullying or feeling low, or Inas said about belonging. These are the things which we will avoid in the long term.
All right. So, since we are drawing close to the end of our discussion, some key takeaways. What about Nilofer? Can you sum up the shared responsibilities of schools and families? Because it's obvious that collaboration is the way we have to work together.
I think the key takeaway would be we should have more open communications. We should, the school and the families should make a point that once in a month there should be an open and transparent communication to see where is the lacking, not criticizing, not saying that your kid is this and this and this, because we are taking this role collaboratively. So I think open communication, transparent communication, maybe we can, give some roles to the parents to hold some workshops, Our own teachers, like we mentioned in the previous discussions, our teachers are also scared to take this step. So I think if we can have some training workshops for the teachers, which will ultimately help the students and it will ultimately help the families. So I think collaboratively, we have to work. We do make mistakes, we're not perfect, but we will learn from each other.
Wonderful. And what about areas of alignment and tension and practical solutions moving forward, Anas?
Alignment, there are a lot of things we can align on, that we have universal values like empathy, like respect, teamwork, and collaboration. But sometimes when the message is not clear enough, this is when misunderstanding happen. This is when sometimes we don't have a solid ground to stand on. So maybe areas of alignment can be have the message very clear from the beginning of the academic year. You set your message clear about who you are and what you want to help the student gains. Small nudges, as you said, small nudges that, yes, will help open this line of communication with parents. Be very clear. Involve more parents in your school life. Give them some guidance. Let them feel that we are partners. Not everyone is working alone. So mainly these are the things that all of us know as educators that will help schools be stronger, be aligned with most of the parents. Because at the end of the day, we are all raising their kids, our kids. It's raising a very well, yes. Yeah, it's a mutual understanding. It's our future, because our kids are the future. So this is, I think, what should happen and always will happen.
So what we understand from the panel discussion is that schools play a key role in fostering critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and they can also reinforce values through teamwork and service. But parents need to teach respect, integrity, and resilience at home. Any last words?
I just want to add about empathy. If we need to balance, between those meanings. Like if I raise identity without empathy, that will cause isolation, and students will only see themselves. If I raise empathy without identity, that will cause confusion. Students will not understand where do they belong to.
More alienation.
Exactly. And at the end, we have to first protect identity and protect human values, humanity, promote humanity, protect identity, and celebrate diversity.
Shravya, any last words?
I have an anecdote to share. So my son is 6 years old now. So when he was 4.5, he would bring back lunch almost every day untouched from school. I waited for a few months and then I wrote to the teacher. She said, I will make sure a child finishes his lunch, and she would send me a picture every day. And immediately as a parent, I felt super happy. I moved him to a different school for another reason. I had the same problem there. His lunch would come back untouched. When I wrote to this teacher, she said, a 5-year-old should know and feel their own hunger. So we will nudge him, but make sure he packs his own lunch and he cuts some salad or fruit and packs his lunch. So that is what the teacher in the other school wrote, which I really liked, though it was hard for me as a parent to do it. But I felt like that school taught me something and is going to make my child something, though in the short run it's a bit difficult. So I feel, schools should be rooted in their philosophy of making kids independent and not be lost in trying to make parents happy. I think when we are rooted in our philosophy, children will learn values from their parents and at school.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this panel has spoken. Now it's your turn. Questions? Come on, one question at least. We weren't that bad.
We were clear, I think.
Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. Okay, hello, everyone. So right now, social media competes with schools and parents to teach our kids some values that we don't agree with, or maybe agree with, depends. Social media teaches them a lot of things, and kids kind of choosing their own values from social media. So how can a school help in limiting this and guide the students to the right values, or the values that fit their culture? And how can a school teach the parents how to do this? Thank you.
You want to answer?
We already did workshops for this. I mean, especially for younger kids, like from grade, when they start having their phones and using the social media, and unfortunately in an early age now, which is grade 4, 5, 6. They do have their phones and they do have their accounts. So I prepared a workshop for the parents, and I talked about the advantages, disadvantages, and how to teach their kids to be aware. And self-awareness is very important, to teach them how to understand, to evaluate content online, as we said before. Also students, we brought for them examples. We show them stories. We showed them the result of not being aware of what you're doing. And it's not scaring them, but showing them the reality. And what is the result of if you are wasting your time? What will happen to your learning, to bring growth, to cognitive development? So we explain this to the children in a workshop that they can understand what we're talking about. So it is very important to upload them with knowledge and to equip them with enough knowledge to understand what's going on around them.
I would also like to point out that imparting education, teaching good values to kids, it's a two-way street. It's an open communication. As Nilofer so rightly pointed out, Shravya pointed out, that we need to have an open dialogue and open communication with parents, so that, parents and teachers have a shared responsibility. They both know that we are on the same page. When it comes to social media, when it comes to movies, when it comes to content that are disturbing and sensitive, what will be our joint reaction, approach, and attitude towards that? If the students know that, they are on the same page, they will also, make a note of that. So that communication, those occasional workshops, that need to happen. It's an ongoing collaboration, in my opinion. I'm sure
just want to
everybody
add-
on the panel will agree. Please go ahead.
I just want to add, if the schools and families have the same direction, we will act like the values will be the moral campus that will guide students, even without further explanation or anything else. So their inner campus will guide them toward what's wrong and what's right. So this is the main, our discussion is how to value education, how it will benefit the students. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like a psychology of a child. We have all experienced it. Our 2-year-old, 1-year-old will first come and ask for permission on something from the mother. Mother say no, straight away go to the dad. With the expectation that by chance if the father says yes. If the father also says no, he gives up.
Yeah, I have a small
It's-
example here. Like Inas said, at school, we have a policy that phones are not allowed. If your phone is caught, it will not be given back to you.
Confiscated.
Yeah, it's confiscated. So when the high school, especially the high school students, when they come to get back their phones, when the school principal says, get your parents' note or get your parent, they step back because the message was already passed to the parents very clearly. And the fear from the students is clear that the parents won't accept. So it's one word, so they step back, they stop arguing. So I think this is what we have to work in collaboration.
I just have I have a question for the audience. Now, in Canada, my son was in grade 9. And every time he's late, the first time he got a verbal warning. The second time he got an email. The third time, the teacher will make him do a community service. What is a community service? He will read an orange overall and he will go around the school with a black bag and gloves and clean the school in front of everyone with this orange overall. Would you allow your kids to do this? Would you happy to is this applied here in our culture, in our schools? So my son, when he used to go for the first day and after the 2 days, and I'm absent today. I cannot clean the school. I can't do that. I'd be embarrassed in front of everyone. I told him, this is what you deserve now. You have to go and clean the school in front of everyone and wear that orange overall. This is the consequences. Punctuality is important. You need to learn. This is the value actually you're gaining. So teaching values is not easy. We have to be open-minded, and as our culture here, Middle Eastern culture, you will allow your kids to do this, or you will go and fight the principal and tell them, no, my kid's not going to go do this. If you will allow your kids to do this, raise your hand up.
Yes.
It's orange because you need to shine. Everybody has to know.
So you heard that it's a two-way street and we need collaboration. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.